my health recovered. Um, 健康第一です。First, today, this is mildly slow-paced time attack and featuring three books with the sort of like nature in the mind. And the first is this artist called Tove Kujeru Mark. She was born in the 1977 and is based in Stockholm. And she is initially trained as a sculptor and has since developed a multifaceted and experimental artistic practice, which encompass several different media and material. Kujul Mark is educated at École des Beaux-Arts and Royal Institute of Art in Stockholm ということで、エコール・ド・ボザールに、ストックホルムの王立芸術大学を卒業した1977年生まれのストックホルムを拠点とするアーティストなんですけど、その人の、カタログなんですけど、So this is the title, The Horse, the Robot, and the Immeasurable ということで、馬とロボットと、測量不可能なものというタイトルで、これがすごくですね、面白かったんですね。何が面白いかっていうと、僕がちょっと自分の関心事、this is very interesting catalog for me especially because I have my interest and curatorial interest in the digital, human, and nature. So, as the title suggests, she is finding a sort of like robotic structure in the horse, which is creature. And sort of like animal, and so it's sort of like it's very interesting how she practiced artistically, because horse is one of the most long spanned motif in art, and relationship between horse and human is really long. And she is, with the use of technology, she's kind of like scanning and sort of like I can see sort of like different new angle of the horses. So with the aid of technology, we kind of like we perceive horse not as status quo, but the some of the very kind of like different view of the horse. So that's what's interesting. Seeing the structure of this is the sound of ambulance in Japan, but the so 洞窟とかでも馬の絵が描かれている最古のモチーフとも言えるんですけれど、そのモチーフ、馬というモチーフ、生き物の中にストラクチャー、ロボティックなものを見出している、機械性を見出しているっていうところがすごく面白いところです。And sorry for the cough. And she is visiting one of the excavating site of the Marvel. I don't know where it is, but this is quite famous place, and and 3D printing. She is sculpting. ということで3D プリントも使いながら彫刻していくっていうものも作ってて、So it's very interesting how she perceive human and horses and some of the different things. And so なんかちょっとあれですけど there's a very interesting this is one of the interesting process of the art making. And I think なんか馬小屋でこうやってポイントをつけてそれで走らせてムーブメントを測量するっていう測量データを取ってモーションホースのモーションとかを取っていくっていうことで、this is one of her quote, which is like horses' body have genetically determined the architecture. This architecture built on a rigid skeleton and dressed with muscle provide a framework that predisposes the individual horse to certain tasks such as running fast, pulling heavy loads, jumping high, or rhythmical dances ということで、馬にまつわるさまざまな動きを、可能にしている馬の肉体的な建築性っていうもの、あとはそれが、馬の持っている、筋肉、馬筋ですよね。馬筋がここに補強されてその動きが可能になっているっていうような非常に I think it's not rigid scientific science, but I think it's very interesting merge of art and technology in her own pursuit of interest ということですごく面白い作家だと思います。ちょっとこういうので他のI mean there is different creature robot things as well, and I think she sort of like regard human and horse or other animals in a more of the same horizontal relationship, which can be, I mean, she's not the only one. She has collaborated with the many other peoples supporting her project. And this is the last word of her. Say, first of all, I would like to thank all the horses and other non-humans that it's been part of my life ということで、無生物、ホースに馬に限らず無生物も、そういう自分の人生の一部となってくれた者たちに、すべての者たちに感謝するっていう、It's very interesting view, and I'm quite amazed by her practice, and this is just one of the big, she made my day. Job Kujul Marquas, born in the 1977 and based in Stockholm, and she has an Instagram, so you can check it. And the next one is this Shimabuku-san, Shimabuku Michihiro, which is who is a Japanese artist born in 1969. Working in the 90s, the beginning of the 90s, and present his artistic practice not only Japan but abroad, and especially in France as well, because this catalog is actually made on the occasion of the exposition at Nouveau Musée National de Monaco from February 19th to October 3rd, 2021ということなんですけど、モナコの美術館で行われたものなんですけど、160 meter mermaid and other story ということで、165メートルの、人魚と他のストーリーということで、This is quite well put catalog explaining his practice, and this actually I've already talked about like in a Pierre Huyghe seminar that the there's a artist who is regarded as a sort of like relational aesthetic, which was proposed by the Nicola Brio. And the in this catalog, which is kind of like French and English bilingual, two essays was written. First by Tiravania, Lilcrit Tiravania, and the and another is like Nicola Burio. So Shimabuku is one of the that sort of like thread novel artistic practice beginning from the big 1990s to now. で、ちょっとこの説明をしたいんですけど、I mean, basically this old work kind of like French and the English で、これちょっとこの話の説明をするのはちょっとあれなんですけど、So basically, I think he conceived this idea from the historical archive record of the Ningyo, and which I think the Ningyo の骨みたいなことの fable sort of like things みたいな福岡の龍宮寺というところのリサーチをして、I think also there's a similar fable in other world. だからここで見ると福岡のMermaid, Brazilio Cafe, and this is one of the things, and this is also another written things in Mermaid. So Mermaid is a fable that doesn't have any border, international national border, and the and another, this is not Mermaid, but the another thing is like octopus, and Shimabuku is capturing octopus, real octopus, in 2003, and travel catching an octopus with a self-made ceramic pot, and the traveling, give a tour to Tokyo to the octopus from Akashi ということで、Akashi is a port in the slightly west side of Tokyo, and he took octopus to the tour of the Tokyo. So this is very idiosyncratic, very, very interesting way of navigating our fantasy and the what can I say? With the with a kind of like fundamental conception of idea of the animism in Japan. Not only Japan, I mean, I think in Asia, animism is prevalent, and the Lilcrit actually wrote about it, and the I think on a brief glance, Brio is talking about Dionysus. It's a Greek philosopher, and it's very interesting catalog to glance, and the sort of like not old, but the early practice of his is also in here, so you can actually see how he has developed his procedure or career from 19th to onward. So this is very well put catalog. So another sort of like associated with animism, but they are more like treating animals and creatures with the same level of with the human. So ということで、ちょっと今165メートルの人形を 福岡の龍宮寺のリサーチも含めて他国の人魚姫伝説をたどりながらそれを実践に生かしてっていうものも含めて、島吹さんの、なんていうかな、芸術実践を結構ちゃんと追ってる本だったです。あとリルクリとティラバニとブリオもここになんていうかな、テキストをここに入れてるっていうことで、まあ、友人知人という親しい仲っていうこともあってっていうので、今回この2021年の2月19日から10月3日までモナコの、国立新美術館かなで行われた展示に際して出たカタログです。And lastly, I think this is I hope I could continue, but this is I think it's kind of our let's do, okay. More it's 15 minutes and I want to cut it, but I can't do this because I think this is nice if I do it in the sequel. So let me do it. This is the third, last artist, I would say, who is Piet Oudrouf artwork by published by Phaidon. And this is a major monograph of Piet Oudrouf, internationally renowned garden designer, featuring a brand new work and the largest collection of the Oudrouf drawings ever published ということで、ですね、Have you ever heard this guy? This artist is like a very influential Dutch design gardener and the landscape designer at the forefront of the perennial movement. And the author of numerous books on gardening and landscape design. He has designed many residential and commercial gardens, public and private, and his projects can be found throughout Netherlands, UK, Ireland, Germany, Sweden, and USA, including celebrated Highline in New York City, Lurie Garden at Millennium Park in Chicago, Hazard and Worth Garden in Somerset, and Menorca, and the Sculpture Garden in Signa Museum in the Netherlands, and the garden installation on the Venice Biennale and the Sarpeton Gallery Pavilion. He is recipient of gold medal and the title of the best in show in Chelsea Flower Show in 2000 and blah 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 blah. So ちょっとですね、何がというと基本的に非常にラージスケールのガーデナーなんですよ。庭師というか庭園デザイナーっていうことだと思うんですけど、This is quite soothing and refreshing and a very very interesting person to be look at. なんかとりあえずですねSo the photograph is already very very intricate and beautiful, but his design, overall design from the top, is also very delicate and meticulous. ということでなんか自分はアーティストではないけど花をパレットのように使ってなんていうかな、空間的に花を生き生きパフォームさせることに関してものすごく自分は情熱を注いでいるっていう風な表現とかあって、もうこれね、I've never seen his work in person at first hand, but this is very interesting practice. I think he's artist already, to my eye, and it's very delicate and I don't know. I haven't known. I didn't 僕知らなかったのですごくびっくりしました。And he also worked with in the Serpentine. So he the catalog include the conversational essay with Hans Ulrich Obrist and Tino Segar. So this is very interesting textual input, what's in his mind. So まあすごく面白いネイチャーを感じさせるカタログ。I think he's the one. Very, very interesting guy. And I think one of the interesting yeah, it's like Uldulf Garten on the Bitra campus in Germany 2020ということで、2020年のこのガーデンのこれもなんかなんだろう、It's so beautiful. I'm sorry to say so simple word, but I think I would be breathless when I see this scenery. It's not 100% human made, but with the sort of like appreciation of all the plants that it's living in this earth. So it's very, very interesting. And I think he used all the plants as a palette to generate this very beautiful things. And I could see that because at the end of this このですね、yeah, plants are character that I compose with. I put the plant on the stage and let them perform. This is his quote, and very insightful and very wise, I think. And this is towards the end, there is a plant directory, perennial tree and shrub ということで、すべての扱っているパレットとして使われている植物の詳細なデータっていうものをこういうふうにあるんですよ。I think this is really well put catalog, and it's just so many of them, and it's very, very healing. I'm sorry to use this simple word, but でもすごく癒されましたね。こういう人がいるっていうことで、ピエール・ウルドゥルフのFirst Major Monograph ということで、まあ彼ですね。So this is the very renowned garden designer, and this is his, I think, office, and very neatly organized. So I just want you to know that so I introduced 3 books, Piet and Shimabuku, and the and Tov. So that's it. Now already 25 minutes, but thank you for watching. Okay.